Currently, I am in Sacramento, California, and right now we're going to be visiting the former boarding house of Dorothy Puente. She is a woman that killed 9 of the people that came to her looking for a room in her boarding house. This video is going to be a little bit more unconventional than how I normally do. Normally with a story, I look it up, research it, regurgitate the same information that everybody else does. I kind of put my spin on it so you guys can kind of see, you know, I do my videos a certain way. However, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. This is a perfect example of a story that I don't care to do. And it's not because, you know, listen, there was 9 people murdered, and this nutcase, and I got some other choice words for her. She was a serial killer. She was knuckin' futz. She was insane. But I'll tell you at the end of the video why I'm still continuing on with this vlog, even though I don't want to do it. And I'll tell you why I don't want to do it. Because there's so many videos about this story like that people have done on YouTube. Now, it's one thing if like 1, 2, or 3 people, I normally don't research a story. Like, I don't look to see who's done a story. I never look. I'll only look if I don't want to do the story. I'll just go and say, all right, let's see who's done a story. I really don't want to do the story. If I wanted to do the story, I wouldn't even have looked it up. I would have just gone and did it. So I'm looking on YouTube, and I can't tell you how many people have done the story, but this is the most played out murder story I've ever seen on YouTube. I'm gonna guess there's 50 different videos on YouTube of people sitting in their homes talking about this murder. I don't know if any of them went to the location. I just started, I wasn't even reading names. I was just scrolling, looking. And I don't know. Looks like this apartment's for sale. Anybody want to give them a call? By the way, don't disturb anybody if you're looking to buy this apartment building. There's a lot of for sale signs in this neighborhood. So let me just say this. If you really want to know the story of Dorothy Puente and what she did, don't watch this video, because we're not even going to get into that. I mean, you can go on YouTube. There's like documentaries. They're 45 minutes long. You can go watch them if you really want some information on what took place. Because I just, all the energy that I had for this story, everything, it just deflated. Like, you know, I feel terrible for the people that she murdered. She murdered 9 people. These would be like people that were mentally ill. They were older. You know, they some homeless. They had nowhere to go. So they would, you know, she owned or rented or whatever, a home right down the street. It's like a tourist trap right there. It's really weird. So this broad, prototypical nutcase, bad upbringing, mother's a prostitute, father's a drunken alcoholic, father dies when she's like a little kid, he dies of TB, and then the mother, she died in a motorcycle accident like the following year. So now this little girl, she's like 7 or 8 years old, whatever, and she has no parents. So this is already looking bad for her. And then it just snowballs into like hanging around with, you know, going to orphanages, nobody wants you, hanging around the wrong people, staying with abusive men, marriage, being married 3, 4 times. It's just the prototypical story of a nutcase woman who ends up being a serial killer. And of course, everyone on YouTube is going to want to do this story because she looks so unassuming. I think her maiden name was Gray. I briefly looked at the story, and then when I pulled up to this neighborhood, and I thought she lived in a crap neighborhood. This is a very nice neighborhood. This is by far the nicest neighborhood I've seen in Sacramento. No offense to anybody from Sacramento, but California, what are you gonna do? I would much rather talk, you know what would be a more interesting story to me? If I talked about today how I got caught flying a drone over a prison. I thought I was gonna get arrested. Shout out to Officer, begins with I forgot your name, begins with a P. What's going on, my friend, if you're watching this video? Thanks for not arresting me. They were corrections officers, so they work for the prison. So I don't know how far their police powers extend But let me tell you, if you would have seen that interaction between me and him, you would have been like, oh, Lamont, you're so respectful to the police, other than the usual videos that I put up when I got like a snarly attitude, because I was doing something slightly illegal. I didn't even know, like, usually when you fly a drone over a prison, they're usually geofenced, meaning you can't get the drone over the prison, but I was just flying it. Absolutely amazing. I wish I could tell that story on here, but this isn't the channel for that. So let's get back to Dorothy Puente. So listen, I could have easily done a 30-minute video going to the location of where the murders occurred, talking about each murder victim or what have you. Let me just say this. So between 1982 and 1988, this woman who was running this boarding home started like basically just stealing their checks, stealing the older people's social security checks, and then she would cash them, but kill them before, and then forge their signatures. And she went to prison before for 3 years. She ripped off one of her friends or her neighbors, stole her checkbook, was writing all kinds of checks. I don't know if this woman was a drug addict. She was crazy. How do you kill 9 people for their social security checks? I don't cuss on this channel, but she's a freaking nutcase. Does anybody know how much this place is renting for? Is anybody going to be calling these phone numbers? Don't crank call them, please. Just, if you want to just inquire, go ahead. If you want to inquire. Or maybe I'll rewatch this video and then I'll be putting up how much everything is going for. I might do that. Every single house in this neighborhood is really nice. Like I said, I could have sworn this place was an absolute dump. I'm actually very, very surprised. So between 1982 and 1988, she kills 9 people, and she like dismembers their bodies, and I don't know. I know that at least one of the people that she killed, Betty Palmer, she was like 80 years old. 80-year-old woman coming to rent a room in a house. I guess she doesn't have any family. I feel terrible for her. She ends up killing this lady and burying her body like in the front yard right here. Here, let me turn the camera around. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, this is her home, or her former home, 1426 F Street. And when I drove by, there was like 6 or 7 people hanging out outside. And you got something right here, is that it was that awful, awful woman that did it. Don't blame me, the house. Okay, so this poor lady probably gets a bunch of people bothering her with... Poor lady buys a house. Well, it's like, why did you buy the house? Murders at... Okay, so she has a scan thing. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then like there's like a mannequin of Dorothy Puente up there. Got a Superman mannequin. So this thing is like very touristy, and I don't know if she actually, this is actually awesome. I wish I could interview her. So the lady that bought the house, whoever she is, she put out like a little library right here. Okay, let's see what kind of books. Anything I'm interested in? Let's see. The Hunger Games, nah. Stuart Woods, no. She got some little kids books, no. Tom Clancy, no. John Sanford, that's a good one. John Sanford. All right. Jim Butcher, that's kind of a weird... Why did that name have to be in there? Okay, that's weird. Okay, well, anyways. Oh. Yeah, she has a cool bumper sticker. It says, let's see what the bumper sticker says. I believe that's an expletive. With the F and the K, I can only guess what other 2 letters go inside. Putin. I don't know what he did to her. By the way, guys, did you know that Putin... That Wagner guy, got, his plane accidentally crashed. I thought that was kind of interesting. So he's no longer here with us. I was waiting for that to happen. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, yeah, that's... God, I wish I was in Russia. I would love to put that story on Lamont at large. Just a crazy, he was... I don't know if you want to call it assassination or a murder. But yeah, definitely Putin took that guy out, boy. Let me tell you something. Don't say anything bad about Putin. Anyways, getting away from that. So this is the home where she committed all the murders, and you can see it's quite a large house. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, this is like, these stories are what I don't like. I don't like overdone stories. I know they're popular, and I know people would enjoy it. I'm pretty much sure all of you guys know this story. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, so this is the house where everything occurred. A very, very lovely house. I'm probably talking way too loud. She's probably wondering, what in God's name? Who is this weird guy outside of my Dorothy Puente house? Why would you, first of all, can I ask you guys a question if you guys want to answer it? Why would you buy a home if it's tied to such a notorious crime? It's a lovely home. I wonder if it's still a boarding house. That's a big house for somebody to live by themselves. Do they have a family? I don't know. I like that Prius. Good on gas. Gas is like $5.50 a gallon out here right now. Nice neighborhood. I am impressed. I mean, some of you guys know that I never say anything good about anything, even food. But this is a nice neighborhood. I like this neighborhood. It's very nice. Okay, so anyways, this is the home. I just want to show you guys really quickly. Now, we, of course, you know how most of my videos end, so it's going to end that way. But we're going to get away from this location as the sun sets on this scenic, tree-strewn street here in Sacramento, California. So let me tell you the reason why I still continue to go on with this video. Now, I know a lot of times I don't say like my interest on like what I like to do or what have you. But I'm always interested in the psychology of why people do things like this, right? Now, if you guys have seen this area and how nice it is. Now, Dorothy Puente, she died back in March of 2009? She died at the women's prison in Chowchilla. Chowchilla is like the largest women's prison in the state. I think it houses 80% of all women prisoners. I got a doozy of a story for you when I get down to Los Angeles about a prisoner. I think this prisoner, I think that whatever it is, long story, I don't want to get into it on this channel. They are in the women's prison. Let's just say that this carbon-based life form. Anyways. So listen, here's the honest to God truth on why I did this video. I don't know why in God's name this moron, Dorothy Puente, killed those 9 people. Now, I know she killed them because she wanted their social security checks. Here's what I don't understand. Now, this woman, she's been to prison at least once time before, right? And, she's been arrested before, and she's a nutcase, obviously, to kill 9 people. She's so nuts. All she would have had to have done, okay? 1982, as I want to say, is when she first killed a person, but I think she had that boarding home since the 70s. Don't quote me, I think that's it. If she was around in the 70s, of course she wouldn't have seen this neighborhood becoming an up-and-coming neighborhood. It's like a bunch of hipsters here or whatever. I'm sure the rents here are high as hell. But it's a nice neighborhood. I can tell this is a very safe neighborhood. If she would have just been a regular businesswoman and just legitimately, instead of killing people, and I don't know if she was a drug addict, she probably was, who knows? Probably. But she's doing all the money. I mean, how old, what were you, 50 years old, 60, when you do it 50, what are you doing with all the, like, what do you need to kill people to cash your checks? Like, what are you, a drug addict? If she would have just been a normal person and could have seen the future instead of just killing people, she could have said, you know what? I have one boarding home. How about I get another one? And she was rent. I mean, what was it like? I mean, I don't know how many rooms are in that place, but she's renting the room. She could have got a grant from the government because she's a woman and been a legitimate business and started, but she could have owned 10 homes up and down this block. She could have owned 10 homes and she could have been a millionaire just off of being a legitimate business person. But she was crazy. She could have got one house, then bought another, then get the money, start jamming them in, rent all the rooms out, get the money, buy another house. I don't know why I'm yelling, because I'm really animated about this. Probably freaking people out right now. But I'm really animated because she could have been a millionaire. She could have been a millionaire probably by the time she was 70. She would have owned 10 or 12 houses right up and down the street. But because she's so absolutely nuts and she was just killing people, dismembering them, this and that. See, look at this. Look at this home right here. Do you know how much this is worth? Look at this. Look at this. It's $600,000. $600,000 is boarded up. If someone's gonna buy it, they're gonna level it out. I don't think this home is worth saving. I think this home is yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the foundation looks like on the roof, but I don't know. I'm curious if that's. Anyways, whatever the case might be. She could have owned this entire 2 blocks. Crazy. And what made me so fascinated to even just do this, even though the story's been overdone, is that this was always like a business idea of mine when I was like younger. I'm like, how about I rent a home and then I turn it into a flop house or boarding house, whatever you want to call it, and just rent it to like degenerates or homeless people, whatever. Work with the city, Social Security, blah blah blah, yada yada, and then yeah. Guys, I live in a van. I can't do anything. This is my gig, but that's what I wanted to do. And it's a great way of making money. That's a great way of buying homes. Just, look for homes that have a lot of rooms in it, turn it into a boarding house. I have no idea, but I'm spent. You guys really should have seen that conversation with me and that corrections officer at that person that was flying my drone over. Woo! Man, I wish I could have recorded it, but I thought I didn't think I was going to jail, but I was like, I don't know. I don't know. He was a cool guy though. He was a very cool guy, and you guys would have totally thought I was Lamont, you're such a nice guy. I am sometimes. But this guy, no, he's a nice guy. He just didn't want me flying the drone over his prison. All right, guys, so this is the end of this part of the video. So we got one more place to go visit before we cut it out. So let's take a drive. I made it just in time. The sun just went down as I was on my way over here. And I don't have a light with me, so bear with me. I did spot the location. I just gotta kind of walk back here and bear with me. It's gonna take me a little bit of time. If you heard a funny weird sound, those are, I think, roosters or chickens over there, or wild turkeys. I think those are wild turkeys over there. Yeah, you hear them gobbling? Yeah, okay. Those turkeys are loud. Okay. I don't know if they attack people, but I'm keeping my eye on them while I'm looking. I wish I would have had a flag or something of that nature so I can, but of course I don't. So while I'm looking, I'm gonna make sure that I'm not gonna be attacked. Oh, there it is. Okay, so Miss Palmer does not have a marker, but she's right here. I know you guys can't really see it because it's dark and I don't have my light with me, but so if you can see on the Find a Grave, the guy GPS'd it, which he did not a great job of GPSing it. He got it wrong. It took me a while to find it, but so if you can kind of see the M and the A and the 1 and the 9 on your screen, that would match with this, and then he's pointing right here. So she does not have a marker, but she's right here. Honestly, guys, there was only really one reason why I wanted to do this video, so. All right. Poor lady, 80 years old. And you know, this, I don't know, it's just this crazy demon woman, you know, and all the other people she murdered. And guys, if you want more information on the case, there is a lot of videos on YouTube to pick. But let me just say, I'm thankful that you guys picked me. I'm sorry that I couldn't give a detailed story the way I kind of, you know, my videos aren't, you know, super detailed, and I have it that way because I'm not a deep dive channel. I'm just a location channel, like location based. But I mean, I feel terrible for the victims and this lady, 80-year-old lady, and I don't know if she had any kids or, you know, my heart goes out to Mrs. Betty Palmer. So, rest in peace, my dear. Let's get to work, guys. Pros don't boast. Lamont at large. I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried to do the best that I can in terms of like telling a story that's been told repeatedly over and over and over again. And if you have never heard the story before, like I said, there's a lot of videos out there. I just wanted to show you the neighborhood, the home, and let's not forget 50 videos on an evil woman, but no one remembers the victims. 80-year-old Betty Palmer. Just looking for a room and she ends up getting murdered. And her head, her hands, and her lower legs were never found. Guys, thank you for watching my video. I hope you kind of enjoyed it. I know there's a lot better people out there, and I'm always thankful that you guys choose me to watch some of my videos. Never forget, we're hitting the road. I will make it a point to come back to this cemetery in the future. This part of the cemetery is flat markers, and you can tell not many people are coming here to visit, and I want to change that. I want to start doing more memorial parks. They may not be the most aesthetically pleasing places, but these people still need to be remembered, if only but just a few graves of this entire vast cemetery. God bless. We'll see you on the next video. Peace out.